Cross. I am one of the facilitators for Best Choice. Austin right there is another educator. So I've been teaching for Best Choice for the last 3 years. I've taught in all the St. Charles schools, built a really strong relationship with all the students and teachers, and really enjoyed teaching there. I'm just going to give you guys a brief introduction of what the Best Choice program is, what it looks like. So this program, Best Choice, has been around for over 10 years. We start off teaching 6th grade, we go all the way to high school in a 4-day program, so an hour each day. So I'll kind of break down what each grade looks like as far as what we teach and what we cover. So 6th grade, and by the way, all the information that we give the students is all medically accurate, all inclusive, and it is wildly popular.
Excuse me.
So the 6th grade curriculum kind of starts off day one. We talk about goal setting. You know, we let the students kind of tell us what their goals are in life, and we talk about how risky behaviors such as drugs, alcohol, smoking, negative media, those types of things, peer pressure, and sexual activity might somehow affect their goals. And so they do a lot of question and answer. You know, they're chiming in and telling us what they think about those risky behaviors and how it might affect their goals. So that's kind of day one. The next day we go into relationships, talk about, you know, how a healthy relationship, what that looks like versus unhealthy. We let them describe to us what they think relationships look like. We do games and activities. The next day we talk about puberty, the changes that occur, physical changes that occur in their bodies, as well as talking about the facts involved with STIs, so because of sexual activity and the risks involved there. And then our last day for 6th grade, we talk about media influence, and you know, let them kind of have an open conversation about the media and the things that they see online and the things that they learn from music and television, all those types of things. So that's kind of 6th grade. 7th grade, as the grade levels, you know, as we teach higher grade levels, we kind of tweak it to their maturity level, right? So, you know, we're talking more about risky behaviors, more about goals in 7th grade, and we do a lot more in-depth with puberty lesson. We have a whole day talking about the physical changes with puberty. And then we do more in-depth STDs. We don't show any pictures in 7th grade of STDs just because of the, you know, we wait a little bit till they're in 8th grade to start showing any pictures like that. And then we do talk more about media influence in 7th grade. 8th grade, we talk more in-depth about relationships, what they look like, the differences in relationships from 6th grade to 7th grade to now 8th grade. Open conversations with them. The next 2 days are about STDs, so we do talk a lot more in depth about sexual risk, and we always fold back to abstinence being the surest way to avoid sexual risks such as STDs and pregnancy. So we do always funnel back to the Missouri statute of abstinence. And then on the final day of 8th grade, we talk again about media influence. And then high school is pretty much very, very similar to 8th grade. The only difference really is that we do go more in depth on the stats of STDs as well as having more pictures involved like that. So that's pretty much the only difference between 8th and high school. And we do touch on boundaries in every single grade. So talking about, you know, what are your boundaries, thinking about what they are, setting them for yourself, respecting, you know, yourself, and also talking about consent. So we do focus on talking about consent and to their grade level in every single grade. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Good afternoon, board. My name is Joy Maxwell, and I've been working with the Thrive organization and Best Choice program for 7 years, beginning when I was completing my master's in public health and my master's in social work degrees at the Brown School of Social Work at Washington University in St. Louis. I have addressed you several times before, and I thank you for the opportunity to address you this afternoon. As our Best Choice program has been the target of a now 2-year misinformation campaign by extreme activists attempting to politicize the provision of sexual health education, I wanted to share several truths about the programming we provide in St. Charles County, especially since some of these activists you met today, you might meet some more on the 26th. Just like all programs funded by CCRB, we aim to positively impact the mental health of St. Charles youth. We know students are resilient, and when given accurate information on all of their choices, they will make decisions that bring health and wellness to their lives. Research shows that teens who wait to have sex increase their chances for a happier marriage, healthier future family, a life of personal responsibility, and productive citizenship. The research also reveals that when teens have sex, besides the risk of pregnancy and STDs, the following negative life outcomes are more likely to occur, often persisting into childhood. less academic achievement, decreased general physical and mental health, including depression, more involvement in other risky behaviors such as smoking, drinking, and drugs, more likely to participate in antisocial behavior or delinquent behavior, and less likely to exercise self-efficacy and self-regulation. Just like all programs funded by CCRB, we are in good standing with the Missouri Secretary of State, complete annual background checks on our entire team, and maintain hiring practices in solid compliance with federal laws. Additionally, our policy on non-discrimination in our provision of the Best Choice programming is in our permanent document file on CCRB's portal. Also, I'd like to address a few things from our application and mid-year report. Every year, our auditor performs an audited unit rate analysis of our expenditures in providing the Best Choice program to the contracted number of St. Charles youth. In a healthily run and properly scheduled, it's heavy sometimes though, so that was a Freudian slip. In a healthily run and properly scheduled department, the cost per student is around $18.50. The most current rate reflects the department functioning while understaffed with little margin for the team and management filling in as facilitators. Concerning our request for increasing units, in the coming year we will serve approximately 5,700 students in Fort Zumwalt, 1,200 in the City of St. Charles School District, and another 500 students at independent St. Charles County schools and organizations with our culturally relevant and engaging Best Choice program. In addition, we are continuing to pursue partnerships with school districts, independent schools, and community-based organizations that educate another 20,000 St. Charles County youth. CCRB greatly subsidizes our work in the community, and we are requesting a modest increase of 100 contracted units to empower our expansion in 2019. After the completion, and lastly, after the completion of the 17-18 school year, we discovered an unfortunate error with the survey protocols at Fort Zumwalt School District that made it impossible for our evaluation team to combine their students' results with the other students we invoiced to CCRB. This has been corrected. Also, upon analyzing the surveys and receiving feedback from the facilitators, it was revealed that there was clear-cut confusion from the students on a few survey items which negatively impacted survey results against goals. This also has been corrected. Now I'm going to pass the baton to Thrive President Bridget Van Means.
I am Bridget Van Means, President of Thrive. I've been with Thrive since 2009. As Joy mentioned, it's no secret that we have had some very energetic opposition to the program. That opposition was a big surprise to us because we've enjoyed wild popularity throughout the greater St. Louis area. In fact, we've served over 100,000 students and their parents or authority figures in their life. However, we are an ambitious program, we're self-reflective, and we always do want to make sure that we're doing the very, very best we can do with our students. And so we have taken the feedback seriously, and we've gone ahead and examined it closely to see if perhaps there was some merit to those arguments. We're very, very grateful that the St. Charles School District implemented a very, very rigorous survey which aligned completely with the opposition's complaints, and we'll share with you today some of those results, but I want to highlight some of them. Some of the questions that were asked, the Best Choice facilitators let me know that what I say matters. 95% of the kids said yes, that was true. The Best Choice program makes me feel like I can succeed. About 94% of the kids said that was true. We went directly to the students, and the school district asked the students specifically, did they feel better prepared to make good decisions in the future because of Best Choice? And that answer was 89%. There were some accusations that were actually more personally hurtful than others, and I know the one that often brought our educators to tears was the accusation that we were shaming to our students, and also that we were not inclusive to the LGBTQ community, which we love. It was very, very meaningful to us that when specifically the students were asked, 100% of the students did not feel shamed, nor that the information was medically inaccurate. When they went directly to the health teachers, who would obviously be probably best suited to assess the medical accuracy of the program and the effectiveness of the program, 100% stated that nothing in the presentation made their students feel shamed or ashamed. 100% stated that at no time was there talk about religion or shaming. And at 100% wanted nothing changed, deleted in the program. You'll also see there's a beautiful excerpt from an email from an LGBT student who indicated how safe they felt in the class, how honored they felt. And then in closing, because I know we're trying to wrap things up a little more quickly than planned, we also then went and took a look at our survey results, and we saw that there was some confusion there, which Joy has mentioned has now been corrected. The other thing that we did was we began to look more closely at 4-day abstinence programs, sexual risk avoidance programs throughout the country, to determine what kinds of results they were getting and what sorts of things they were measuring. The truth of the matter is the area that we're choosing to measure, which is intention, what a student intends to do when they walk into the class versus what they intend to do when they walk out, is actually the hardest area to measure. So there are other sexual risk avoidance programs that pick an easier target. But the fact of the matter is we want to make a difference. We want to have kids walk out of our program with a different intention. So we are tackling the more difficult area to measure. We're making changes in the survey to more effectively do that. And then the other thing that we uncovered is that 4 to 5% change is considered statistically significant. And so we are going to be modifying, asking that the board would allow us to modify those goals to keep those in keeping with what science points to as significant. Now, when you think about 100,000 kids, or even in our school district, about 8,000 kids, 5% of the kids every year choosing to delay sex throughout junior high and high school, you're talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids that will be positively impacted in all the ways that Joey mentioned. Again, we are very, very proud and honored to be in the district. I want to again mention that we've served about 100,000 students through the greater St. Louis area. Our opposition has yet to produce even a handful, barely a handful, of students who have corroborated some of these concerns. That represents about not a 1% complaint rate, not a 1/10 of a percent, not a 100th of a percent, 1/1000th of a percent of students who have a concern. And in fact, most of the concerns that they say, it's obvious that they're parroting those concerns because they aren't things that actually happen in our classrooms. They may happen in other programs throughout the country. So we are very, very proud to be in the district. We're very, very excited about the results, and we look forward to continuing to bring a world-class program to the students of St. Charles County.
Any questions?
Any of the board members have questions?
Do you all track teen pregnancy rates in the school district as any kind of indicator, and has that gone up or down?
We know that in the St. Charles County School District, or in the St. Charles County, we have seen a descending rate of pregnancy. We are looking into ways of tracking that more closely for teen pregnancy and its relationship to our program, something that we're looking to do.
And actually, I believe it was Fort Zumwalt a couple years ago had a news article where they talked about what they're seeing, and I can actually provide that to Bruce so you can see it. It's a couple years old, but they mentioned our program by name as contributing to the decrease that they're seeing in their community. So
Is that the same with sexually transmitted diseases as well?
in St. Charles County, sexually transmitted disease, I know, unfortunately,
It's not tracked by teens.
yeah, I'm not aware, Bruce, I don't know, is aware, and that is a national epidemic that we're seeing across the nation. It's not specific to St. Charles. I do know that it's increasing across the nation, unfortunately. I do believe that the trend in St. Charles is lower, but that is a national problem that we're seeing, and part of the reason why we talk so intensely about it and having activities where the youth can kind of grasp the idea of how easily things can be transmitted, even if someone is asymptomatic and not having symptoms. So we talk about being tested. There are many free resources for that in the greater St. Louis region.
Is that something you could add to your tracking so that you do have statistical evidence, at least here in our county, that demonstrates it may be linked to your program, that those numbers are going down or staying flat when every place else it's increasing or staying flat?
Yes, in meeting with your leadership, it's something that we are looking into for the coming years. Yeah.
Thank you.
Your program is by state law, requires districts to provide abstinence as the number one or the first approach. In the two school districts you're working in out here, St. Charles and Fort Zumwalt, are you the only sex education or health education program in those districts? Or do they go beyond the abstinence and teach the rest of the full health curriculum?
Sure, I can answer that. So specifically, because I've been to quite a few trainings on this, biologically and developmentally, youth, this gray zone of black abstinence, not abstinence, whenever you feel safe, is biologically and developmentally something that the younger grades cannot capture. And so while we do in the 6th grade, 7th grade not focus so much on that, we do introduce and discuss rates of effectiveness for condoms in 7th grade and 8th grade, and then as the statute requires in high school, we do talk about the effectiveness of the different forms of contraception. So that is something that is discussed and in those 2 districts, and we are not the only source of information in the school districts. Of course, the health teachers are there, but one thing you'll see even in the comments, how much the teachers appreciate the focus on abstinence, and so there is all of that in providing. We do provide medically accurate information on what contraception looks like. Consent, of course, is pointing towards that.
And also, we did actually amplify that component to the program based on some of the feedback that we got.
But you're saying you're not the only health education program then in the
The health
district?
The health teachers actually also augment the education.
Beginning in middle school and through high school?
One of the things that maybe stood out to me, especially as I should introduce myself, I'm Austin McCartney, I'm one of the Best Choice facilitators. And one of the things that stood out to me over the years, being able to present this program material, was just how often a teacher came up to me after a class and said, you're telling them everything that I'm telling them, but it is helpful for them to hear it from someone who's not me, someone to help reinforce the same thing that I teach, but for them to hear it from a different voice. It was also a topic that was brought up in that survey at St. Charles in the school district. That was one of the points that they really drew out, is how important it was for students to hear this message of abstinence coming from multiple sources. So we're definitely not the only sex education that they receive, but we do hope to be another voice empowering the teachers in their own classrooms.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'd like to just commend you on what you do. You know, it is a mighty task. Life is choice driven, and so all you're doing is presenting an alternate choice. It's up to individuals to decide. It's a choice I think is well taken. I say that as a parent. I say it as a parent of a 30-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 14-year-old. My 30-year-old is a registered nurse, practice abstinence. She's a virgin today. My 14 and 15-year-old are boys, athletic. They are virgins today. I pray and hope that they will continue to be so. It is like it's choice driven. When we look at statistics, poverty in this country, one of the major reasons for is teenage pregnancy. It carries a weight that you cannot describe. So, you know, we talk about St. Charles County and you're a taxpayer, I'm a taxpayer. Well, you guys are taxpayer, everybody's taxpayer. So to want somebody to parrot your agenda because that's what you believe is not necessarily the right way to go. You put information out there, the kids want to go, they go. If they don't, they don't. Life is choice driven. And just choose, and however you raise your children to obey or not to obey or get involved, that's what they do. But I would commend you on what you do, and I'd say keep doing it.
Thank you. And if I can say just one last thing, I know our time's probably up.
Time's up.
Okay. Sorry.
Go ahead, one last.
Sorry, I wanted to be respectful, I'm sorry, I'm from the South, that's how we roll. One thing that I wanted to share kind of points back to the parents, and it was so clear to me, and I might have shared this with you all before, but I was at a City of St. Charles parent night, so we're talking curriculum, the curriculum's in front, and I've got a parent who says, I don't want my kid learning anything, I want to handle everything at home. And then we've got another parent's like, show them how to put on a condom, show them how to, show them where to go, and them coming to a consensus of like, you know what, teach them biology. Teach them how to be critical thinkers, but this extra stuff that I want, let me do it at home. And we pride ourselves on walking that narrow path of teach biology, teach what's medically accurate. We're not teaching values. No school district really should be doing that, teaching our youth how to be critical thinkers, to go to your parent, because I know you can tell the facilitators, there's questions that they could answer, but don't say, go talk to your parent, talk to your trusted adult, because that's really the person who should be speaking into this area and this decision. So just thank you for that, because we really pride ourselves on that. So thank you so much for your time and your support, and you've been in this 2-year battle with us as well, so thank you so much.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Our next group is kids under 21.